Hello and welcome back to the van build series. If you're new to the channel, I'm Naz, and together with my wife Rosie we're turning this panel van into a tiny home on wheels. In today's video we're going to be moving on to the sliding door. It's one of the most awkward and stressful parts of the build. Stressful? You get what I mean. It's one of those jobs that has got to be done because it's such a big part of the inside space. However, it can pose some difficulties and might lead to me pulling my hair out. I've decided to approach the sliding door in a very similar way to what I've done with the back of the van. I've used 4-way stretch carpet for the head and foot cutouts of the bed. I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing with the sliding door. Just to give it a little bit of life and to essentially match the rest of the van, I'm going to be making a door card from scratch, unfortunately. It's going to be 3mm ply topped with cladding stained exactly the same as the ceiling. Now, achieving a neat finish on the sliding door is obviously really hard because you can't go beyond the seals, otherwise you'll have water ingress and it'll lead to problems further down the line. To achieve a good finish, this really cost-effective product, it's essentially just a long stretch of U-channel. Basically, I'll be gluing one side to the door, and then what I'll do is I'll trim the 4-way stretch carpet and just tuck it inside the U, fold the other piece back over. What that's going to lead to then is a nice neat finish when the door's open or closed. You're not going to be able to see the end of the carpet. All you'll be able to see is this black trim. All I'm going to be using is some super glue just to stick this to the door. I'm going to be following the profile of the seal and then we will tackle the carpeting. Let's get right into it. Today it is absolutely roasting, hence the vest. Yesterday I managed to get the seal on. That's on fine now. It was a little bit difficult in some areas, just on like the corners and especially at the bottom of the sliding door. Yeah, they were quite problematic. I had to go out and get more glue because I stupidly thought that 2 small tubes of glue would be enough. But anyway, it's on. So that's going to be really good for when I put the carpet on. I've decided today to focus my attention on the door card. I've just made essentially a backboard to the cladding, just so everything's really nice and structurally sound, because this is a big moving object and it's going to be constantly open and closed, so I don't want the cladding to split or to break on me. So I backed it with some 3.6mm ply. To secure that in place, I'm going to be using rivnets. I've used rivnets everywhere in the van really, and they work really well. It's worth mentioning that the rivnet gun comes with its own rivnets, but I didn't find them to be the best quality, so I did upgrade to some stainless steel rivnets and they really do hold really well. So I'm going to be securing them in 4 places. I'm essentially going to be enlarging. I'm going to be making these holes bigger. I'm going to be making 4 of the pre-existing holes larger to accept this M6 rivnet. They're not far off, but they do need to be made bigger. So I'm going to be using a step drill bit. I've used this loads in the van. You would have seen in a previous video that I was moaning that this cost 20 quid. Well worth the money. I've used this countless times on this van build and I would buy one again tomorrow if this broke. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Once the rivnets are done, I'm going to be using a rivnet gun to put them in place. I'm going to test fit and pre-drill the backboard so that when I come to put my cladding on, I can just drill straight through from the back into the cladding and then in through the front with my actual screws. Most importantly, when using one of these step drill bits, get the bloody insulation out the way because this thing is a menace. There you go, simple as that. That fits now. I'm just going to do the rest of the holes and then tighten them up with the rivnet gun. This is a rivnet gun. It essentially is just a thread that you screw the rivnet to. So you screw that on in place, down like that. You put that in the hole, you squeeze, and then it basically creates a sandwich between the rivnet, the metal, and then the back of the rivnet. That's a really strong fixture. It's what's holding our back doors up and holding most of the beams up in the van, and it works really well. So in squeeze, and then I like to tighten it up a little bit more and just give it a little extra squeeze, just to make sure that that is a solid fixing point for anything that I want to put into it. That's on, done, secured in 4 places, and the holes line up perfectly and it fills the space. From now it's just going to be a case of cutting my cladding to size.
That means you're extra extraordinary.
Okay, good morning everyone. It's a new day. The adhesive has been curing overnight and now this is essentially ready to go. I just shaped the edges, so now this has got nice curved edges. I'm just going to wipe it down now and then I'm going to tack it with the same stain that I used for the back doors and for the roof. So, like I said, I'll be using the same stuff that I used for the back doors and the roof to actually stain this door card. Fucking glove. Stuff I'll be using is bright wax. I'm just going to glove up and then get to work. Okay, it's a new day and I'm going to be moving on to doing the carpet on the sliding door. So I've taped up the window so I don't get any spray glue on it, because we all know that spray glue loves to go everywhere. I've taken off the door card that I previously made. All that's left now to do really is attack the job, and I'm not looking forward to it, I must admit. I'll start this off with a time lapse just so I can get my head around the starting process of it, and as soon as we're in a position where I can stop and sort of attack the more intricate pieces, I'll pick the camera up properly and talk you through what I'm doing. Okay, I've had to take a little 2-minute break because this is quite a difficult job. Sort of anchored the piece of carpet to the biggest chunk of metal I could, really, if that makes any sense. What I needed to do is put it there first and then like sort of stretch it up right to the very top. Because this is a shortest van in the range, where the sliding door is, there's not any flat space above the window, so it was quite difficult to get it attached there without sort of messing it up or leaving a really unneat finish. I'm taking a little break just so I can compose myself before I tackle the rest of it. I've cut it almost to the edge, and then I'm just going to go along with a really sharp pair of scissors and cut it to the edge before I put the window trim back on. And then I'll tackle the rest of the door and pop the door card back on. I see why people say this can take a whole day. Definitely one of the more difficult jobs I've done on the build so far. Okay, I think that's the worst of the job over with. I got the window trim back on, which was a pain in itself. But yeah, it looks neat and tidy, so I'm happy with that. I won't show you the mess that's behind me. There's about 200 offcuts of different bits of carpet, but there we are.
Klappat hakten alla dagar, fullfest hela dagen. Liten mjöl från livets grottekvarn, fullfest hela dagen. Små på stort, det har vi alltid gjort, så det är fullfest hela dagen.
Right, that's finally done. I am a broken man after that. I have never felt so mentally drained in this entire van build than I have today doing that sliding door. It is no joke. It just takes so long. It's quite an easy job to actually do, but to get it done neat and with no like creases, and don't get me wrong, there are creases, but it is finished. And it does look really good. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you that. And I'm also, I know I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to show you the mess that I'm currently looking at, which is a result of spending pretty much 4 hours doing this sliding door. As promised, the mess. I've just got so many tiny pieces of carpet. So now that's done, I think I'm gonna get the door card put in place and then show you the final clip of it, how it looks all done. Well, there we have it. That's the sliding door finished. And if you're wondering how I did my back doors, if you've seen them in the back of some clips, or if you've seen our TikTok and you've seen them on there, then we've done them exactly the same way as we did the door card for the sliding door. Just 3mm ply, topped with cladding, stained exactly the same colour as the rest of the wood in the van. But yeah, we're really happy with how this has turned out. It was a hell of a job. Like I've mentioned, hundreds of times it feels like in this video. It seems when I was doing this I just loved to moan, but in truth it wasn't that bad. It just was a very fiddly and time consuming job. So that's it from us today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing down below. If you liked the video, drop it a like. If you've got any questions or comments regarding the sliding door, carpeting, or just about van builds in general, then drop it down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And make sure you stay tuned for the next videos, because this van build is really starting to take shape, and the next few videos, a lot of progress is made. But until then, I'll catch you next time.